Hey, good afternoon, everyone. This is Cleo. I'm here working on my book, but I'm also being respectfully bombarded by the demoralization people are experiencing as a result of Nipsey Hussle's murder. And what people seem to be grappling with is what looks like a real high profile black on black crime, as it's called. And the reason I say as it's called is because most murders in a society happen in close proximity to people based on their group. Most people who are white, Asian, Latino, etc., are murdered by people who are white, Asian, Latino, etc. But because of racism, there's no such thing as a normalized term called white on white crime or Asian on Asian crime or Latino on Latino crime, though those very much exist. But white supremacy, racism, which is particularly focused on anti-black agendas, tend to be very good at dehumanizing us and making us seem particularly problematic. But I'm responding to the impact of that tendency on black people because we are demoralized, some of us, by this incident because from our perspective, not mine, but a lot of the people are demoralized. This can't be seen as an issue of racism. This can't be seen as an issue of white supremacy or police murder. This is a black man named Eric Holder, of all names, who allegedly or apparently murdered Nipsey Hussle. But this is what I want you to consider. First of all, I don't want to be too verbose, so I'm going to be brief by saying black parents are in the position to raise black children to have more value and respect for each other and for black life. And as a matter of fact, you better do that because the society is racist. For example, go on television, as I've said many times, and try to find a reliable black on black love story that's happening outside of the context of a comedy or that's not full of troubles and drama. There are lots of white versions of those kind of romantic stories. There's deep and profound romantic love stories featuring white people in media, but it's very rare. Matter of fact, there was a film called Love Jones, and it was a newer film starring Nate Parker that was similar to Love Jones that featured him and a biracial black woman. But Love Jones was featuring two black people who loved each other, which is very, very rare, even in 2019, for that to occur. Of course, people are going to do their best to try to find an exception to what I'm saying, but that you have to work hard to find an exception is part of the problem. Anyway, getting back to what I was saying, so-called black on black crimes are often a subset of internalized oppression and internalized racism and white supremacy. For example, just simply using the N-word, which was and is a major part of the dialogue and a lot of the conversations among hip-hop crowd and so-called gang members. And even Nipsey Hussle himself used the word excessively. But frankly, even use of that word is the residue of slavery. That's where it came from. And a lot of our behavior, even when it's facilitated black on black, particularly when it comes to petty murder, is the result of internalized oppression and not valuing each other because each other are black. For example, Eric Holder, if indeed he did do this, and I believe he did, he could have possibly felt like Nipsey Hussle didn't deserve his fame, didn't deserve what he had because he was just an N-word. My point is, if that's indeed the case, and I believe it was, that's still white supremacy. That's still a consequence of internalized oppression and white supremacy. So as you deal with your demoralization over his murder and your confusion by that a black man couldn't kill another black man, keep it in context. Nipsey Hussle was a very special dude who was doing things for black people. That in and of itself, and I've experienced that firsthand, can offend somebody black. Who do you think you are? And no matter that it's facilitated by somebody black, it's a consequence of internalized white supremacy. Because if you are comfortable with black power, if you are comfortable with black success, if you are comfortable with black prosperity and black industrialism and creating jobs and doing the things that Nipsey did, you won't have no negative reaction. You'll be glad about it. You'll celebrate it. But if you have an anti-black conscious or unconscious mind, you want to dismantle it. You want to destroy it. I personally have been through that myself. Not done that, but been through myself. I've built several large organizations in this country that were eventually sabotaged or interrupted by this kind of black facilitated behavior. Because if there's a ghost town and there's no progress going on, some of us who hate ourselves so much are at ease now. We don't feel challenged anymore because now things are dysfunctional and messed up, which is what we think they should be, as somebody who believes in a white supremacist perspective of who black people are. So don't forget the source of this kind of behavior while you're being demoralized by a black on black incident. It's wrong, and Eric Holder will pay. Trust me, I think we all realize that. But it's still a side effect of white supremacy. I just want to say that. I hope we all feel better, and I hope people continue the work of Nipsey and that we don't get demoralized into paralysis. Thanks for listening. Bye.